What's up, guys?
Lara and Joy here with the What's Up podcast. Today we can proudly announce that we are not alone today. We have a great guest here. She has over 22,000 listeners per month on Spotify with her indie folk rock band Jenobi. Hello and welcome, Jenny Mattsson. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
We're doing great.
As well, yes.
Like I said before the recording, I'm kind of nervous because that's our first recording session. But I think it will work out well.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. We have some questions for you, so I'm just going to start. We know you, we prepared something, but the listeners don't know you that well, I think so. So can you please give us a quick introduction of yourself?
My name is Jenny Apelmo Mattsson. I was born in Sweden and I moved to Germany 10 years ago, this year, exactly 10 years ago. And I have been making music since I was a child, I think. I started out with bass when I was 12 years old. It has always been like something that I love, and I don't think I can live without it, like playing bass and making music. So I started my own project in 2016, where I also wrote songs and did not only play bass anymore. um, and That's called Jenobi, and it's my solo project. And live I have a band that are coming with me as well. I'm very happy about this.
I can imagine. That sounds really great.
Yes, it sounds very interesting, I think. And I'm very interested in different countries. So, how was your early life in Sweden?
Oh, it was. I think it was okay. I grew up in Gothenburg.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Hamburg, where I live now. It's a ocean or a harbor city.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really beautiful, but it's a very small harbor city in comparison to Hamburg. It's like all the cities of Sweden are pretty small. I think Gothenburg is the second biggest city, and it has like, I don't know, 300,000 to half a million inhabitants, I think.
Mhm.
So it's for like second biggest Swedish city is not so big. um, my parents also worked with music while I grew up, so I think it comes from home, to make music and to sing and to play different instruments, to experience everything, and try new things out.
That sounds very, very nice, actually.
Did you
Yeah.
go to Hamburg because you have kind of a little home, if you say it's like a harbor city in Sweden too? Or like,
Yeah, I actually I moved to Berlin first.
oh,
And I lived in Berlin for 2.5 years, and then during this time I got to know the guys in the band that I was playing with for the last 10 years, and I was a bass player there in that band, and they all lived in Hamburg, so they were like, it's better if you move here, because we want to be able to rehearse every week, and it's easier if everybody lives in the same city. So I decided to move to Hamburg from Berlin. And also, of course, it is. I fell in love with Hamburg pretty quickly because it reminds me of Gothenburg a little bit. And I think also, if you are used to growing up right next to the ocean, you can never. Um, you will never feel really at home in cities that don't have like the
yeah.
ocean.
Yes. Yes, and Hamburg is also a very beautiful city. I think one of the most beautiful in Germany, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like it too.
And I love the musicals in Hamburg.
Yes.
I never been to one actually.
Really not?
No, but I in my old place in Hamburg, I went by like the you know, where they played Aladdin and
Yeah.
The Lion
Oh,
King.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
yes.
But I never went there. Have you been there?
Yes, I have been to Lion King and I really recommend it. So you have to watch it if you're living in Hamburg. You have to go there.
And see Lion King.
Yes.
So you said you met your bandmates in Berlin, but how exactly did you meet? Like, what was the occasion?
Well, oh, maybe important to say, I have like in this old band where I was the bass player.
Mm-hmm.
That is called the Tapas and the Art Directors. And the new band that I have now, Jenobi, it's a different people. But the old band Tapas, I met the drummer in Berlin
Mm-hmm.
because we jammed with another band. I think it was very long ago, and we played bass and drums together, and we really liked to play bass and drums together. So we started to meet just the two of us and jam together, and then he told me like, yeah, I have this band living in Hamburg, and they need a bass player right now, and I thought maybe you want to try.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like met up with the singer of Tapas and the Art Directors, and we played some of his songs together, and we were both very happy. And then I started to play bass in the band.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And why did you came to Germany? I mean, Sweden is a beautiful, beautiful country. I wouldn't leave Sweden if I would be born there. So why did you come to Germany?
Okay, I have a counter question. Do you live in the country where you grew up, or in the city where you grew up right now?
No, I'm
No.
I'm from Leipzig in Germany
Okay.
and came here because of the job of my dad.
Okay. But could you imagine like staying or moving back to Leipzig?
I absolutely could, yes.
Yeah. And also to stay where you are right now?
Mm, that's a bit difficult. I like it here, of course, but
Mm.
next year when I'm finishing my school, I'm going to move to Dortmund to make a year, to make a gap year.
Mm.
So I'm not bound to this place right here. So I could imagine to move anywhere.
Okay. That's well for me. I think for me it was as I said, Gothenburg is not that big, um, and for me it was in school. I don't have contact with, I think, almost any of my classmates. Sometimes I write to them at Instagram or say congratulations to your marriage, or things like this. But for me, Gothenburg was too small and I needed to get out. And I was also I think in Germany you have this idealized picture of Sweden, what is not actually reality, because you have read this Astrid Lindgren storybooks, and then you imagine, oh, everybody is living like Die Kinder von Bullerby and stuff like this.
Yes.
That's not how it is,
Yeah.
it's, I'm sorry to break it to you guys. I mean, nature is beautiful and everything, but it's very secure, it's very safe, it's a safe, or that changed, these things change too. And the political state of Sweden right now is not so nice as it used to be.
Okay.
If you watch it from my point of view, because when I was a kid, or even before that, it was very left. It was very, very much solidarity, social democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, Sweden gets more and more rights. It gets more and more racist, more and more, and it's very sad. It's a very sad thing to watch. and all these things, and also the fact that I just wanted to leave the city where I was born, because I was so damn tired and I needed to feel free. I needed to, start a new life where nobody knew me. So I could leave a lot of things behind. um, this all adds together for the reason why I moved, I think. And of course, go camping is great in Sweden. Also, living and have a life in Sweden, I think, is also really great. But Germany is not that bad either, actually.
Yes, yes, and I can imagine that it's like a little adventure. Like if you say going to a place where no one knows you and stuff like that, it's very, very exciting.
Yeah, it is, and it's yeah, and it's just like a feeling of freedom, especially when you're 19 years old, as I was when I moved. I remember, I always been in this very small Swedish city, and I moved to Berlin, and I remember I was so afraid to go outside. I was like, okay, it's so big, it's like 3 million. Not even Stockholm has 3 million people. So I went outside, and I went to this because I have a German friend in Sweden. Actually, we changed countries kind of. She told me, like, "Then you need to go out alone and just face it, so you learn that you don't have to be scared." So I went to like Kreuzberg in Berlin, and I sat down in a cafe, and I was like. And it was really great, but it was also this feeling of like, I am so free right now. I'm anonymous. I'm walking on streets that none of the people that I know have been walking on, like this. It was a very great feeling.
Oh, very cool. And we heard before the recording you speak German very, very well. Where did you learn that?
Ah, thank you. Well, yeah, I've been here for 10 years, so I think it's also a little bit because of that. But I also studied German from, like, how do you call it? A distance. I studied a distance studies.
Like abroad.
Yeah, exactly. From Dalarnas University. It's like a university in like a little bit more north in Sweden.
Oh,
And
okay.
they have really, really good German courses for Swedes. And it was very good. Like you learned. I studied basically first German grammar, and then I started to study German literature science.
Mm.
And it was really great. So we read a lot of books, but also we had like phonetics
Mm.
apart from that, and that is also why we sat down and practiced, the pronunciation of each word, the melody of the German language, compared it to the melody of the Swedish, and I think that is why.
Could you imagine to do German music?
I have written a little bit in German. um, I think if you practice it a lot, then you can learn to write better. Also, if you read a lot of books and poetry in German. But still, since it's not my mother language, it's because of that, it's hard to find all the words that you need to write a great lyrics. And I'm very harsh when I am writing lyrics, and also when I'm listening to lyrics I can be very critical. So I don't know, like I have been trying it out, maybe someday.
Oh, but we would look forward to hearing English, German songs from you.
I'll see.
So you told us that you've been doing music like forever, but how did you exactly discover music for yourself? I mean, music is great, and I think everybody loves music, but in your case, it seems to be a passion, right?
Always when I was a kid, since my parents both work with music, uh, it was so natural to just always you know, my parents are these kind of people. I was very annoyed of this when I was a teenager. You could say a sentence or ask your parents something, and then they started to sing a song with the last word in your sentence instead of answering your question. You know, it was always we were always singing. We were always like, also when we went on a trip in the car, we were starting to drum rhythms on the car windows and on our knees and stuff. It was always there. And then for me it was so natural to you know, start listening to music as well. I think um, I think maybe like when I discovered that I really wanted to become a bass player, I had been playing trombone in the orchestra for, I think, 2 years or 3 years. And then my parents took me along to a Paul McCartney concert. So I watched, when I was 12 years old, I watched Paul McCartney live, and I thought that was so amazing, and I became a huge Beatles fan. And Paul McCartney is the bass player of the Beatles, so I thought that was like the coolest, and I started to play a lot of Beatles bass lines. When I was 19, I also had to do in Sweden, like for my for graduation, I had to do a project, and my project was analyzing the bass lines of James Jamerson. That's the bass player of Motown, you know, the label Motown. And James Jamerson, and I did like a project where I like analyzed the way he played bass. I read about him, I wrote about him, and I did a concert where I tried to play the bass lines exactly as he did. And it was, for me, I just got more and more nerdy, I think.
So you fully fell for playing bass.
Yes.
Very cool.
So we read on the internet that you studied jazz.
Yeah, I studied it. It's like in Sweden, there's a lot of Volkshochschulen. I think you can translate it like almost to college, maybe.
Yes, college. I think so too.
Yeah, it's like you live there for 1 or 2 years, and it's you sleep there, you have your room there with other students. And I went to a college where they had like jazz as um, as a program that you could go and learn. And it was actually supposed to be 2 years long, but you could also just choose to do 1 year, and I went there for 1 year. It was after I graduated, and then I moved to Berlin, and then I thought, you know, in 1 year I'm gonna go back to Sweden and do the second year, and then my idea was to go to the music university after that, but then I got stuck in Berlin. Because of Papas and the Archivators, actually, yeah.
So you mentioned that you also work with other bands like the Noobs Banks and Torpus.
Yes.
How do you like it?
I love it. I think actually I couldn't do only Jenobi. Because Jenobi is like, you know, writing songs, and I'm the singer, also the bass player. I play some guitar as well, and that is really cool. But I think I need this variation of only being the bass player or only being the bass player. You know, it's like I love playing bass so much. I think I could never leave it behind, no matter how it goes with Jenobi. I think I always need to do this, like playing only be the bass, and you know, I think the Noobs Banks is a lot of fun because it's the first band where I actually get to play jazz again since I went to this jazz college. So it's very like you have to practice a lot. It's double bass only. And it keeps me like fit as a bass player. So it really yeah, it's also a little bit harder or more difficult to play than pop music. You know, it's you have to practice a lot more.
So we have another question. We got to know that you released your album Patterns in September, and we wondered what was your inspiration for the album.
Well, Patterns is about um, it's about patterns, obviously, but it's about psychological patterns. You know, when we grew up, we are taught. It depends on how our childhood is, on our parents or our legal guardians. Everything matters, and everything is like making you the person that you are.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these patterns that we like make in our childhood, they're not very healthy. There are like patterns that we can follow that always makes us, maybe they make us getting stuck in certain feelings like depression, that you are so used to being depressed that you don't know how to get out of it anymore. It can make you insecure, even if you need to be more secure. It can make you maybe always choose the wrong person to be together with, like the wrong partner, that you again and again you choose somebody who's not healthy for you, who's not good for you. And it's because of this childhood psychological patterns. And the whole like the whole album, every song is about a person or more people, different people who are stuck in one of these patterns, in one of these negative, this self-destructive pattern, and tries to get out. And some songs are even like, no, but I don't want to get out. I know this is bad for me, but I don't want to, because it's I like to be self-destructive, and it's a little bit it's a lot of attitude as well.
We also listened to your album, of course, and I really, really like the song 100 Times, because that's how I understand it, because we try to be the best version of ourselves, and we try to pretend that we are okay when we're not. And I think that's a big, big problem in our society. I think we have to learn to accept ourselves, and we accept that we can't always be happy, even when we pretend to. But I think if generally everybody knows that and understands, when you have a bad day, we still try to play that we are happy. I like the song because it shows exactly that, and maybe it will lead us to be open, or be more open to our feelings. And I think it's kind of a mirror. If you're hearing a song 100 times, it's kind of, yeah, I feel that I am exactly like that, and maybe it's going to change us a little bit. So I think you did a really, really good job.
Thank you. It makes me really happy to hear. It's like there is no better compliment than somebody telling you that about your lyrics. That makes me very happy.
Therefore, we have a little sequence for our listeners from 100 Times.
I'm alone in my bed, taking back what I said, wondering where you are. 100 times I tried to be different, caught a shot it up like a bad shot, but it's never easy to pretend that you're fine when it feels like the world's gonna end.
But I'm also interested in what your favorite song on Pattern is.
Ooh, I think I also like the lyrics of 100 Times a lot, actually. I'm very happy with that lyrics because it is exactly like you said, it's it catches the whole thing of being stuck in this. But I like patterns, the song patterns very much. And I think like the newest songs on the album is like maybe Intro, the first song. And it's a little bit, I know it's pretty strange and pretty freaky, you know, but I really love it. And I also think like when I'm writing music now, it's more in that direction. But I don't know, maybe I will, you know, change it again. But right now I'm very much into this a little bit more experimental kind of music. And then I have a very very large emotional connection to Jonas. Yeah, but I think I like all the songs actually.
Yes. You have made the album, or you have it came out while the pandemic, and did you notice any major changes in your music career during Corona?
Well, playing live is a very very big part. It's very important for every musician and every band and every artist today to be able to play live, because that is actually nowadays, that's the way that you make money, so you can afford to pay your rent and everything. And also it's a very important way to reach out to new people. And not being able to play all these shows when you are releasing a new album, that's a very very that's very difficult, and that's very frustrating, and that's it's very sad. To take this pandemic seriously, that we have to be careful and take care of each other and wear our masks and make sure that the hospitals won't get too full, you know, because that would be devastating. But at the same time, it is very hard that such a big and important part of our career is just going, you know, it's just gone, you know. And also there are so many aspects of this business, you know, it's not only the musicians, it's about all the people who are helping, you know, organizing the concerts, or like the sound engineers, or the people who are building the stages, and all the people, you know, all the people who are working with concerts that are not musicians. They are also in a very very bad situation right now. We were lucky because the booking and the label Grand Hotel von Cleef, where we are at, they actually helped us organize like a garden tour. It was really really nice, and we were able to play a lot of different gardens, like around Hamburg and also a little bit further away. It was all like private concerts, but it was concerts, you know. And that was, I think, without that it would have been really depressing. But because of this, it was not that bad. Still, it's like, you know, when you make a new album and you release a new album, the best thing about a release is the tour, you know, it's the touring, and it's the concerts, and, you know, getting to know new people. Also be like, for Jenobi is a newcomer band, and it's so important, it's so extremely important to play and show your music as much as possible. And this is really hard.
But on Spotify, you had over 22,000 listeners per month, and I think that's a massive group of people. So I think you're having a kind of success, even if you can be on tour.
Yeah, I'm very happy for this. I'm really really happy for this. It's like yeah, when you can always, it's a little bit dangerous. You have, like, as a musician, you have an app that you can go into, like Instagram or something, and you can see how many people are listening to your album right now, you know.
Yeah.
and it's so dangerous. You can go in and like, oh my God, there are like 20 people listening to my album right now in this moment. And then I had to like force myself not to log in there more than one time every day because otherwise you're just hanging around there. No, but I'm really happy about that. It's amazing.
We're happy for you too.
Yes.
Thank you.
And are you planning on making a tour after Corona? Even if you don't know when Corona ends?
Yeah, I think the first thing that I want to do when this ends is like playing a really long, a really long tour. Yeah,
That sounds like a really good plan.
Yes.
yeah. I hope that you will come in to one of the concerts.
Yes,
Of course. We will absolutely stand in the first row and scream like, yay!
Yes.
Singing along and just partying. I think that's all our questions. But we have one last one.
question.
We are going to ask that everybody who's on this podcast. So, what are you doing on next Saturday?
Wow. Oh, I'm rehearsing with my live band actually.
Oh, nice.
We are going to play a live concert on the like a streaming concert on the 17th. They're online, so you can watch us playing live on the 17th, I think, or around the 17th of November.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna practice with my band.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah,
Gonna be there on 17th.
Yes.
I'll keep you posted.
Yes,
Yeah.
hopefully. So thank you very much for joining us today. We had a very great time with you, and we wish you all the best for your future and your career, of course. And we hope to see you on the biggest stages of the world.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much for having me. It was a lot of really nice questions, very interesting questions as well.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best for your graduation.
Oh, thank you very much.
Maybe you will also have a podcast one day on Spotify, maybe as well. You
That
know?
would be very great.
Yeah, we're
Then-
working on it. Maybe you will find this podcast on Spotify next.
Oh, nice.
Then we can do an interview again someday.
Sure, just ask. Nice talking to you.
Then have a nice day.
Yes. And you?
Next time. Bye.
Bye.